Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Teah, and today we will be looking at Web3. So, what is Web3? Web3 is basically a term that became famous, and it kind of described the future, the next version of the internet. And so, it was broken down into three categories so far, and it's Web 1, Web 2, and then Web 3. If you look up Web 3 anywhere, you will probably that's like the first thing you will come up to, and everybody will try their best to give you the description of each category. So I'm not gonna try to explain it, but basically it's a basic concept of UI and UX, user interface and user interaction with the interface. And basically, it starts from a simple point where you cannot interact with the UI, and then you get to a point where you can start putting inputs and stuff, and then you get to a point where you can interact with the UI, but the UI as well can respond to your interaction, and it goes a lot deeper. Like you actually start to connect with the UI itself, and it's just not like an interface now. It's like an external part of you, and in throughout your interaction with the UI, you kind of get kind of bound to that system, and it's a connection that is like next level. So there's your physical self, and then there's uh your conscious self, and then Web3, in a sense, from my perspective, what I think is that it's gonna add an additional sense of self, and that's gonna be your virtual or your metaphysical um, interdimensional self, right? If you are trying to define interdimensional, it's usually saying like your spirit or whatever. But in a sense, it will serve something like that. And the concept of like magic and yeah, the concept of magic and sorcery, um, even though people haven't really like connected it with science, I mean with technology, I think technology itself would be the overall concept of magic, because we will have stuff that you will be able to do with physical object using technology, and the way you will be able to use them will almost seems magical in a sense. And in a sense, technology is magic, but people don't want to refer to it as magic, but technology is magic. um, and the further we advance in this technological tech centric world, we're going to that's the more people will actually start to think that technology is magic. So without further ado, let's get into the videos review, I mean reactions. And I'm just gonna play them, and at random I'm just gonna find random stuff and play them and try to add reaction to them. So actually, instead of doing it randomly, let's have an objective, and we're going to focus on uh yeah, let's look at this one. This one is very intense, and the
Let's
duration
imagine a
is
centralized
not that long.
service needs 100 servers. Since the purpose of decentralization is redundancy to protect against bad
I'm
actors
gonna
or other
turn
unforeseen
my
disasters,
camera off.
let's assume a decentralized equivalent needs 1,000 servers. In reality, it would probably
Whoopsie, my
Let's
apology
imagine a
guys.
centralized service needs 100 servers. Since the purpose of decentralization is redundancy to protect against bad actors or other unforeseen disasters, let's assume a decentralized equivalent needs 1,000 servers. In reality, it would probably be more than just a tenfold increase, but the exact number doesn't really matter. In order to keep a network that is 10 times larger profitable for its owners, customers would need to pay 10 times as much to use it, unless you think splitting equipment and facilities across many different parties makes their costs 10 times lower. It really should be obvious to everyone that something which costs more to run will cost more to use. How likely do you think such a service is to succeed?
Okay, so I'm actually going to start a business. Okay, I just graduated college and I'm new to the overall system and stuff. However, I am going to carve my own path and I'm going to focus more on Web3 and designing a system that actually uh, brings the overall concept of Web3 into reality, right? So when I'm reviewing these, I'm going to just give a little bit of hint and I'm going to try to explain what these guys are talking about in their video. And I'm going to do it from from a laid back perspective so that I don't give too much information. I know about technology. That's like it's my favorite thing, right? I'm very passionate about technology, and I'm a programmer, and I am I'm an engineer. So I think I have an expert level of information and to be able to like explain this, right? So I'm going to talk about this from as if I'm an expert because I know I'm an expert about technology. So he's right now, this person is talking about centralized and decentralized services. And basically he's talking about databases, right? Um, and he's saying that these databases that are going to be decentralized are going to cost more than the centralized businesses in a sense. And the photo he has here right now has like I don't know, triple or quadruple like the single service that is right here. So if you were to compare one single like central area to like all of these area, right? Just by looking at this, you can see that there's like just more storage space, and this pretty much debunk his concept that it's gonna cost more to to have like all of these services than to have this. I'm sure like it's gonna cost more to have a centralized because this here is a very small data storage space in comparison to this amount of storage space just by looking at it. And so let's just watch
Clearly,
this
we
and
have a
see
problem.
what he's trying
People
to
who
say
own
again.
servers, even decentralized ones, pay their bills in dollars. They need to maintain the equipment in dollars, pay for electricity in dollars, lease facilities, compensate employees, whatever else they need to run their business in dollars. So if they can't earn enough dollars to pay their bills, how does that gap get closed? Simple. The protocol pays them in tokens it creates out of nothing. But how do they pay?
Okay, so this here, right, is the problem with NFT and the problem with cryptocurrency and the problem with the Ethereum or whatever you call it, Bitcoin and whatever cryptocurrency that is out there right now. That's the problem with it, right? People when people think decentralized, they don't think about it from like uh, a developer perspective. Like they don't think about it in that sense. They just think about it as a first come first serve or all you can eat buffet, right? Um, if everybody can print out money, right? If the president of the United States just says, If you can print it, then you own it, right? The people who are going to be the most wealthy in the US and pretty much all over the world will be the people who can print out the most money. So this means the people with the highest computing power and the people with the highest natural resources, right? Because you do need like stuff from nature to be able to make money and stuff. So from that perspective, right? That's how people are thinking right now, right? When they think about cryptocurrency, they just think I'm gonna sit at my computer, I'm gonna program a little bot or a little system that is gonna start printing out as much currency as possible, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna trade it to people and expect myself to make money, and that's how people think cryptocurrency is supposed to work. But that's not how cryptocurrency is supposed to work, right? Right now, that's the problem with cryptocurrency. Things like Ethereum. I think Ethereum is basically a monetization system, right? I don't really think it is the actual, like, is the best way to create a decentralized service, because um, it isn't free, right? It's basically a freemium type of service, right? You have to put money in to kind of like make money in a sense. And I mean, it is important to be able to like to invest into something and then get your return on investment. But honestly, like the way the overall crypto environment is right now and all the services that are like that are producing money out of thin air, as this guy is saying, like the way they are working right now is not how decentralized service is supposed to work.
Their dollar denominated bills with fairy dust. I mean, tokens. They have to trade them for dollars first. This is where the problems begin. How do they convince people to buy their tokens? They need to convince them that fairy dust is a good investment. Fairy dust has value because the service will revolutionize stuff. And in the
He's right about this, and this is the reason why I personally won't invest in Ethereum or invest in Bitcoin or invest in NFT and stuff like that, right? I actually thought it was absurd that people were investing into things like that, right? Those are basically concepts, right? And people are investing into them. But I'm not trying to criticize anybody who invested into concepts like those, right? Um, what I want to say is that these people, right? They don't know about technology. They don't know about uh like how this overall system is supposed to work. But they do what I want to like mention and what I want to um like appreciate people efforts about is that they actually try to to perform this belief, like to perform an act towards the belief that they have, right? They do believe that there is supposed to be a system that is supposed to be fair, for anybody to be able to get into and for anybody to put their work in and get an equal amount of payback, right? They do believe in that, and that's why they invest into this concept, right? Because they do believe the concept. However, the organizations that have actually started to bring this concept to reality, all of these organizations are only aiming to make money, right? They are trying to monetize the concept, right? And that's not how it's supposed to be, and that's not how it's supposed to work, right? And that's the problem about it, and that's why people are thinking about Web3 as a stupid concept, right? Because of the people who are representing the current system of Web3, because they are doing it in the wrong way and they are monetizing it, everybody else is starting to think that Web3 is a dumb idea.
90s, people used to mock the internet or whatever. Listen, just buy my fairy dust and the price will go up. Then you can sell it to someone else, be rich, and never work again. It's a secret path to wealth that only the smartest people understand. We're so early. Join us. Aren't you smart too? Or just another wage slave working for a living? The more people they convince, the higher the price will go. The higher the price goes, the more people will be convinced, and so on. As long as the price keeps going up and people keep believing, there is a market in which the service providers can dump their.
Okay, so he's basically talking about pyramid scheme and Ponzi scheme that is actually around the overall concept of Web3 right now. So there are many companies that open up and tell you to rent their platform as means to uh generate currency, and the currency that you are generating have like insane value, right? And they just say that it has value, and then people are believing it. Again, the people who are believing in it are like, these people are pretty much, they are victim. They are not they are not they are not to be looked down upon, right? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to criticize these people who like became victim of the manipulative hands of these new organizations, that are actually currently still uh, carrying on these Ponzi schemes and these pyramid schemes and stuff about the concept of Web3, right? So again, people do have the right to be angry about what's going on, about the scams and stuff that are going on about cryptocurrency and NFT. But even though there are these type of people who are bad, like these organizations that are bad, that are doing stuff like this, there are also people with good intention. And I'm actually trying to invest into Web3 from a good intention perspective, right? And I'm trying to make these videos because I want to explain like what people are currently seeing Web3 as, and what other organizations are actually representing Web3 as, and why it is wrong, and why my take on it is going to be the best possible way to actually implement Web3.
Fairy dust for actual money to pay their bills. The moment faith is lost, so goes the service, because customers simply will not pay 10 times as much to use it. It really shouldn't be so complicated to see this macro picture, but the people who design these services play all kinds of games with the fairy dust to confuse everyone into believing they are somehow investing.
These organizations are not real, okay? And this is the first thing that has to be addressed by everybody in the crypto environment. Everybody got to find these like bad organizations, find these scammers, and actually get them out of the way, right? That's the first thing that we all have to do. Everybody got to watch out for scammers and people who are trying to use the overall concept of cryptocurrency as a means to make quick bucks, and just and make people their victims and stuff like that. So that's something that everybody as a whole, like everybody in the United States, everybody all around the world who are interested in a new level of technology of engineering, right? Everybody who's interested in this should actually be vigilant about these scammers and these just terrible, overall organizations.
In the service provider itself. They're not. Owning fairy dust does not grant you ownership over any service provider or their assets or their income. It just keeps the lights on for another month. They confuse people into believing that by staking their fairy dust, or basically promising not to sell it for a period of time, they will earn income derived from customer fees. They're not. Most of their income, almost all of it, in fact, comes from inflating the supply of fairy dust. The protocol just makes more and deposits it into their account. Normally, that would cause the price to collapse, but if they increase the yield on staked fairy dust and create a hodl diamond hands cult to mock paper hand smooth brains who sell, they can keep the balls juggling just a bit longer, long enough to convince more suckers. And that's the whole game. Just survive another day and extract a bit more before people catch on. They borrow money, they raise investment, they sell fairy dust, they destroy capital as quickly as they accumulate it. But
So he basically just explained the scams that is the scammers and what they are doing and how they are scamming people. So basically this is what they are doing, right? And this explanation is perfect, and this is exactly uh why there needs to be like people like us who can get out there and make this Web3 concept come true without our personal greed, and without being manipulative. And there has to be people with good intention out there trying to make Web3 come true, right? Because Web3 is a very, very decent idea, and I'm sure everybody around the world had this idea that technology is going to be the future, and everybody um had an idea about like Ready Player One, where you can enter this virtual environment and interact with other people. I'm sure everybody and anybody can actually reason with this overall concept. However, the people who are actually making these softwares, making these organizations, um, and claiming that their currency is the best currency, and their currency is going to path make the way to the it's going to make people rich in the future. Like these companies, they have to be watched out for, and these company has they have to be outed in a sense, so that the good guys in a sense can come out and make something that actually means something within the crypto environment and crypto ecosystem. So
But the one thing they should do and don't is make money from selling a service people want to consume. You know, running a business, not a Ponzi scheme. Web3 distinguishes
exactly, right. So how you can do this is you can go about it by running your business, and that's what I'm actually about to
itself
do.
from Bitcoin by having actual customers paying for actual services, which is good. But from a customer's perspective, is it good that tokens they need to consume services have such a volatile and unpredictable price? What benefit do customers derive from speculators trying to extract profits from their relationship with a service provider? From a service provider's perspective, why would they want to limit the supply of licenses to artificially increase the price, potentially beyond the point customers are willing to pay? And if customers are willing to pay more, why should those profits go to middlemen pushing paper, so to speak, and not themselves? Of course, this whole thing assumes people actually want to use the service to begin with. There are many reasons to believe Web3 services are architecturally flawed and materially worse than their centralized competitors. Regardless, even if the services are good, the whole thing is economically non-viable and makes no sense. Bottom line, if the
It doesn't make sense because there are people who are out there trying to make it come to fruition, come true, but they don't know how to do it, right? These people are basically like business people, right? Who have the knowledge of how to run businesses, but they don't have the technical skills, right? So with any product, right? There are business people, and then there are the people that actually get down and get their hands dirty and actually make the product itself, right? So if you are making a product, the conceptual aspect of it is something that can be uh, contributed to by business people. However, making the actual product and making it flexible and making it scalable, and in a sense like making everything reusable and like well defined, these are stuff that are supposed to be done by the actual engineers, the actual people who actually work physically with the overall concept. So let's continue.
fees paid by customers are not sufficient on their own without any investors to maintain the service is an entirely unsustainable scam that can only survive as long as they continue to recruit dumb money to gamble on their fairy dust. Crypto people used to say, "In math we trust." Well, these numbers tell a damning story of stupidity and perhaps fraud.
All right, so that was the video. Um, overall, he this video is pretty. It's a very clear explanation of the scams that is going on, that are going on around cryptocurrency and the overall concept of Web3. And right now, there are very few organizations that you can actually trust. Um, However, I think personally Web3 is something that is going to be possible, and it's up to the ethical and the good guys to actually make this come true. Um, Overall, the this little uh, example that he gave is kind of similar to what I have conceptualized and what I'm thinking about with my Web3 system. However, the example that he gave is a negative perspective on the overall concept, and this overall example can work and without the negative effect that is actually being explained in this video about it. So again, this is a business idea, and I won't want to disclose it to everybody because I won't be able to benefit from it myself. So yeah, so that's all I wanted to show for now. I'm not sure if I can squeeze one more. Let's see. Stop using. All right, so I'm gonna make these videos really short so I can release more. My channel doesn't have enough videos, so if you like discussion about Web3 and you want to see the flaws and why these flaws are possible and why these flaws are here and how to avoid them, I mean how to fix them, um, at least get a hint of how to fix them. My channel is the best place. It's the best place to be. So you can subscribe to me or go to LinkedIn and follow me. My name is Teah, and I'm new to the content creation aspect of the internet. So I'm gonna try my best to make my videos, watchable for the most part. So yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.